Welcome folks to MTG Friends. I'm Ryan. We're going to do a Commander deck tech. This time we're doing Arcadis, the Strategist. It's in green, white, blue. It's a flying vigilance elder dragon with stuff that's all about defender. Whenever a creature with defender enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Each creature you control defender assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power and can attack as though it didn't have defender. Now, going into this, putting this together, I had no idea that I was going to be making a pseudo budget deck, because it turns out that creatures with defender don't cost a lot, ain't gonna break the bank. So put in the normal shenanigans in here where you're gonna see some higher value cards, but again, this isn't a budget channel. Let's just get into it. Let's get into the packages. But like I said just a moment ago, this is actually one of the most cost-effective ones I've put together in quite some time. All right, protection. Some butt action butts. Whoa, that sounded way worse than I meant it. Ramp, defender, lots of creatures with defender. Some removal pieces that synergize with this particular kind of build. Some draw, some shenanigans, and the land package as usual. And we just have one tutor in this particular build. Now, in the maybe board over yonder, there are the typical ones you would probably put in anyways, like Worldly Tutor, Mystical Tutor, etc., etc. But they aren't really necessary because a lot of these defender creatures do draw and allow us to do different things. So, but you can easily swap those in if you so desire. All right, let us begin. Looks like it wants us to do the heinies first. The heinies. All right, Cherick's the Raging Isle. Now, it's not going to synergize with our particular commander, but it's hilarious. And we do have a few other cards that allow us to attack with our toughness, which is 17 in this situation. Spells your opponents cast that target Cherick's the Raging Isle costs 2 more to cast. And for 3, Cherick's gets plus X minus X until end of turn, where X is the number of islands. It's mainly just, this is a ridiculous blocker and can swing for 17 with the right circumstances in our board state. Yes, please. High Alert for 3. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Case in point for Cherick's. Creatures you control can attack as though they didn't have defender. And for 4, untap target creature. Probably not going to be doing the untap thing all that much. Hualtli, did I say that right? The Sun's Heart. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. And for -3, you gain life equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control. That might come in handy in a pinch. Oh, that's not even the right language. Not even the right language for us. All right, creature gets +0/+6. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory, right? All right, we are into the defender cards. All right. Let's see if I can say this right. Amaranthine Wall? I probably butchered that. Defender for 2, gains indestructible end of turn. 06. A lot of these defender cards are going to be pretty basic and self-explanatory. Oh, well, except for this one. Colossus of Akros, defender indestructible, and for 10, you can give it 10 1/1 counters, which is hilarious. As long as Colossus of Akros is monstrous, it has trample and can attack as though it didn't have defender. So that thing can become a 20/20. Seriously? That's ridiculous. All right, Crashing Drawbridge. We know what this one is. It even ends up in some competitive EDH decks. Creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. It's the haste thing. It's an 04. Drift of Phantasms. It's an 05 flyer. I like this card because it's a flyer. And it's got Transmute, which just means for 3, you can discard it and search your library tutor for a card that has the same mana. Reveal it, put it in your hand. Faithbound Judge. This one has Defender, Flying, Vigilance. This one's really cool because you can disturb it. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Faithbound Judge has 2 or fewer judgment counters on it, put a judgment counter on it. As long as Faithbound Judge has 3 or more judgment counters on it, it can attack as though it didn't have defender. And you can flip it into a possible win con condition as you see here. All right, on to the next. Fog Bank. Defending, flying, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and dealt by Fog Bank. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, guard Gomazoa. Defender flying. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to guard Gomazoa. There you go. Another fog type card. Hornet Nest. Love this one. Defender 02. Whenever Hornet Nest is dealt damage, create that many 1/1 green insect creature tokens flying and death touch. That's just very funny. So if you block that thing with something that doesn't have trample and it's a 20/20, you now have 20/21 1 green insect creature tokens. That's pretty damn funny. Hover barrier defender flying. It's an 06. There's the stats. Mnemonic wall defender. When it enters battlefield, you can return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. 04. Like I said, a lot of these defender cards are like sub $1. I mean, there you go, man. Stalwart shield bearer for 2/03 defender. Other creatures you control with defender get +0/+2. You see the basics of what's going on here. You got big buns that can swing if your commander is out, or a couple of the other cards that allow us to swing in with defender. Exchange your life total with Tree of Redemption's toughness. That could become really big, really fast. Wall of Denial for 3 defender flying shroud. It's an 08. That's flying? Yeah. Yes. Wall of Frost. Whenever Wall of Frost blocks a creature, that creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Can you see why this is going to be fun to play? Fun to play. Wall of Glare for 2. Wall of Glare may block any number of creatures each combat. It's an 05, so that could really work out if somebody's gone wide and they're bored. Why has this got like a weird image thing here? Let's try that. There we go. This one is super old, and I just think it's funny. It's an 07 wall for 3, which just means it's got defender. Wall of Nets. Also old, so it doesn't actually say defender, but it has defender. At the end of combat, remove from the game all creatures blocked by Wall of Nets. Wall of Nets leaves play. Return to play under their owner's control. All creatures removed from the game. Yes, most of these just do real obvious things, like this one. Wall of Reverence. Defender flying. At the beginning of your end step, you may gain life equal to the power of target creature you control. Yes. All of these walls and things all synergize with Arcadis. Wall of Stolen Identity. This one's actually really funny. You may have Wall of Stolen Identity enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield. Well, wouldn't that be funny to make this a Blightsteel Colossus? Except it's a wall in addition to its other types and has defender. When you do tap the copy creature, and it doesn't untap during its control's untap step for as long as you control wall. This is so wordy. Why do these cards have to be so damn wordy all the time? You get it. You understand it. All right. Abzan Beastmaster. Oh, we're in draw now. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card if you control the creature with the greatest toughness. You got it. Shulane, Teller of Tales. This one's in here because it's in our colors, and it's just great. Vigilance. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. Then you may put a land card from your hand on the battlefield. And for 3, return target creature you control to its owner's hand. I mean, we're probably never going to tap it to return a creature. I mean, we might. But the other stuff and the other stats is great in this particular color package. Flumph, I never thought I'd ever say this, but we're including this card. This is such a garbage card, especially when we were drafting, when it was when Adventures in the Forgotten Realm was in standard. Or wait, as of this recording, it still is in standard. Defender flying. Whenever Flumph is dealt damage, you and target opponent each draw a card. What a terrible card. But it's got defender and flying. It can block, and it's going to draw us a card. Yes, we're including it. Now I can say I've included that in the deck. Mentor of the Meek. Whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1, draw. Heuristic Study. You gonna pay 1? You gonna pay 1? Oh, we've heard that so many times. Whenever opponent casts a spell, you get to ask them, you gonna pay 1. If they don't, you draw a card. Wall of Omens. Defender. When it hits the battlefield, you draw a card. Alchemist Refuge. It's in our colors. Why not? You may cast non-land cards this turn as though they had flash. So powerful to be able to do that, even in this deck. We are apparently in land, which was the last land. So we're going to blast through this. In fact, nah, maybe we won't blast through this. We're not going to blast through this. Flippy card, green or blue. Bountiful Promenade to sack. Oh, yeah. So, as usual, the land package is the most expensive. You can swap out some of these duels that are more expensive, like this one, for example, and just put in regular lands. Why not? But again, this isn't a budget deck channel, so I don't know why I keep saying this. Bountiful Promenade, go get one. They're awesome. Comes in untapped if you have 2 or more opponents. The other pathway that we need, we have all the pathways in here. We also have all the shocklands we need. Shockland, Command Tower. Oh, I just really like these ones from Double Feature. I actually don't like Double Feature. Double Feature sucked. I don't know. Did any of you guys like Double Feature? I thought it was a terrible product. I mean, it was stuff we already seen, and then it's in black and white. Seriously? I do digress. Deserted Beach. If you have 2 or more other lands, comes in untapped, which I think is great. Fabled Passage. Go grab a basic land we need. If you have, or if it is the 4th land. Flooded Strand. Go fetch. Go fetch a land you need, yo. Like I said, you don't have to run these fetch lands. You can just put some basics in here, yo. Like this. Ya basic. Wow, I'm in a really weird mood, folks. All right, Hallowed Fountain, another shockland. Pathway. Like I said. Islands. I also didn't like the islands in this set. I don't know. The words. Some people really loved it. Fetch. All right, you know what? Blah, blah. Lands. You get it. You can look at it on Architect. There's nothing super special going on with these lands. We're running 34 of them. Anything below there? No. All right, let's go back up top. Protection! Ghostway is so awesome. Remove each creature you control from the game. Return those creatures to play under your own control at end of turn. Just a nice protection piece. Teferi's protection is better. This one's cool too. Yeah. You might see Ghostway in a lot more decks in the future because, frankly, I'd kind of even forgotten about Ghostway. But it's a great protection piece. Heroic Intervention, Hexproof and Indestructible. Also awesome in green. Robe of Stars. Very specific to this kind of a deck. Equipped creature gets +0/+3. And for 2, it can phase out. In case we all forgot what phasing out is, treat it as anything attached to it as though they don't exist until its controller's next turn. Phasing. Speaking of phasing, Teferi's protection. All your stuff phases out. You don't exist. You can't lose life. Can't lose the game. Teferi's protection. Oh, so awesome. So awesome. And I frankly love the original artwork the most. Why didn't it go back to Teferi's protection? There we go. I love this original artwork. All right, ramp. All the things you'd expect to see. Heads I win, tails you lose. What set is that? Man, I feel like I'm up to snuff on all this stuff, and then I see something rando like that. Axebane Guardian. It's got Defender 03. Add X mana in any combination of colors to your mana pool, where X is the number of creatures with Defender you control, which should be a lot. All the signets in our colors. Chromatic Lantern, so that all of our lands are whatever color we need. We are running 3 colors, so that's why Chromatic Lantern's in here. Cultivate. I paused because you should all know what Cultivate is. Growth Spiral. For 2, draw a card. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. I love this card in these colors because it's instant speed. And it's a 2-for-1. Get a land, and you get to draw a card. Overgrown Battlement. Defender, add green for each creature with Defender you control. Selesnya, like I said, the signets. Oh, that's that Secret Lair version. Okay. Yep. Signet. Sky Shroud, as you guys probably know if you're familiar with the channel, I love Sky Shroud Claim because the forest that you go grab come in untapped. They do, and it doesn't have to be a basic. So for 4, you get 2 forests, come in untapped, which in essence reduces the cost by 2 roundabout. So whatever. Soul Ring. There's nothing better than having a soul ring in your opening hand, huh? Huh? Can I get a high five on that one? High five! Sunscape Familiar for 2. Walls. Yes, green spells and blue spells you play cost 1 less to play, yo. I just yo'd you. Yo. You can yo me back in the comments. Yo. All right, Sylvan Caryatid. One of the most expensive creatures that are Defender. Defender hexproof. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. All right, we got some removal. Some good ones, man. Or woman, man. I think mostly just men check out this channel. I don't know. Are there any women out there actually listening to me babble along right now? Put it in the comments. Yeah. And hey, whenever a creature comes into play under your control, what is wrong with me today? You may destroy target artifact or enchantment. So awesome. And the fact that it says may means you don't have to blow up your own crap. Cyclonic Rift, Overload 7. All of your opponent's stuff goes back into their hands except for lands. Spendy card. You can swap it out and put in like a counterspell. Whatever. Dusk Dawn. Destroy all creatures with power 3 or greater, which is most likely not going to be our creatures. Most likely. So there you go. Would be our commander though, so be careful when you play that. Fell the Mighty. Destroy all creatures with power greater than target creature's power. Interesting. You have choices. I really do like Heliod's Intervention. Destroy X target artifacts and or enchantments. Target player gains twice X life. We're not on a life gain deck, so the second part doesn't really matter, mostly. But that first part, you can start whack-a-mole in opponent's stuff, yo. Slaughter the Strong. Each player chooses any number of creatures they control with total power 4 or less. Then sacrifice all other creatures they control. So that is nice. Anything that your opponents have that are less as well are going to stick. But this gets rid of like some of those beefy creatures that are just holy moly going to smack you for a lot in your face. Wave of Reckoning. Each creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. Ha ha. Yes, it does cost 5, which kind of sucks. But it does some really cool stuff in our benefit for our build. Angelic Chorus. We got shenanigans, folks. Shenanigans. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to its toughness, which is going to help us more than others. Oh. Read the card. Ryan. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, which means it only benefits us. No cards, man. No cards. Assault Formation for 2. I have this in the Doran deck. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its butt rather than its power. And for 1 green, target creature with Defender can attack this turn as though it didn't have Defender. Defender deck. That part really matters. For 3 creatures you control, get +0/+1 until end of turn. Kolfinor's Urn. I put this in here because I just thought it was funny. And actually, I wasn't familiar with this card until more importantly, I forgot about this card. Whenever a creature with toughness 4 or greater is put into your graveyard from play, you may remove it from the game. At the end of turn, if 3 or more cards have been removed from the game with Kolfiner Urn, sacrifice it. If you do, return those cards to play under their owner's control. Yay! Yay us! Really nothing else to say about this card, or actually say nothing about that card. Marble Titan. Creatures with power 3 or greater don't untap during their controller's untap steps. I wonder how many people have stopped watching this episode at this point. There's at least one, because it's you. You're watching. Meekstone. I mean, these are great cards in this kind of a build. Meekstone. No creatures with power greater than 2 untap during their controller's untap phase. There you go. We're gonna lock that shizzle down, man. Reveal Arc. I don't know if that's how you say it. For 5. I cracked this one in no, not the list. What was it? Ultimate Masters? Yeah, I think I got one of these in Ultimate Masters. When it leaves the battlefield, return up to 2 target creature cards with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, and you can evoke it for 6. You may cast a spell for its evoke cost. If you do, it's sacrificed when it enters the battlefield. I mean, you're probably not going to need to evoke it, but maybe. I don't know, man. Rolling Stones. Walls may attack as though they weren't walls. Yes. Yes, indeed. Tetsuko Umezawa Fugitive for 2. Creatures you control with power or toughness 1 or less can't be blocked, which is going to be most of our creatures. Tower Defense. Creatures you control get +0/+5 and gain reach until end of turn. This can give you the swing for the win or a surprise block that makes it so that you can swing in for the win. Towering Titan for 6. Towering Titan enters the battlefield with X/1/1 counters on it, where X is the total toughness of other creatures you control, which could end up being ginormous. Sacrifice a creature with Defender. All creatures gain trample to end of turn, and you might end up using that second part. Wakestone Gargoyle for 2. Creatures you control with Defender can attack as though they didn't have Defender. Wargate, the tutor I was talking about. So we have a few other tutors in there, and you could swap them in if you want. Like I said, like 3 times already. Search your library for a permanent card with converted mana cost X or less. Put it into play, then shuffle your library. Chroma's Will. This is the maybe board. That's the maybe. Whoa, man. Is that everything? Is that everything, folks? That's everything, folks. All right. I think you're going to have a lot of fun with Arcadis. This is just not supposed to be super serious. But Commander is not supposed to be super serious either. But this thing will hold up to a lot of decks, man. A lot of decks. And it's like, even this particular build is sub $700. And you get rid of some of these fetch lands and all that kind of stuff. And you could really make a go of it, yo. Yeah, make a go of it. Look at that. I mean, I don't know why I'm belaboring this point. Probably because this is the first, like I said in the beginning, this is probably the first budget-friendly deck I've done in eons. So rock on to the break of dawn. Thanks for tuning in. Check out the other stuff.